When I started here at Coromandel in 2020, we were keen to see how we could take this work further using digital devices. The challenge that we're aiming to address through this work is really to look at how we create an equitable system, education system, that enables all children to succeed. And when we say succeed, I mean succeed academically.
Working with children that have neurodiversities is really important to me. I have children who struggle in class, and I know that they are extremely clever kids. They have high intelligence, we have incredible conversations, yet somehow something doesn't work for them in class. They can't get their thinking out.
Over the years, I saw sort of 15 to 25% of children not able to show their capability and their intelligence. So often children demonstrated verbal capability and oral language and ask great questions, but when it comes time for them to present their learning, they're stuck.
One of the quickest ways to get children writing that I found was to use voice typing. So it took away all of their barriers of handwriting, their fine motor skills, their ability to form letters. It takes all of that away and just gets it down to their thinking capability, which is usually pretty high.
When I went into the classroom last year, I had students who struggled with writing, and I tried ways of getting them to write, and I knew there must have been something out there for them, but I didn't know what.
When we see that a child is not reaching their capability, I will go into the class and work with the child, teach them how to use voice typing and text-to-speech. And they realise that they're actually capable of writing pretty incredible stories. Then I use that as a big success for them, and we share that with the teacher, and they get a buzz out of it.
Start of the year is just, I didn't actually think I was that good, and comparing it to now, like, I could look back and see I'm like way better than I used to be. It's actually amazing of how much I've improved.
We looked at digging in deeply to understanding underlying cognitive differences. So exploring things like memory and processing speed and the verbal ability.
And so when you came into the classroom and introduced it to me, I was pretty much hooked straight away what they had done for their writing, and I was just, the conversations we had after that has been really, really awesome, not only for me, but also for my children and those that really struggle with the writing.
In introducing this to a school, sometimes teachers feel that the reliance on digital will inhibit their capability in writing by hand. But what we found is that actually as children became confident in using digital devices to express their ideas, they also were more capable in writing by hand. And yet when they only were able to write by hand, they hardly wrote at all.
Out of 10, it would be like, on a computer, it would be like a 10, and for a pencil, it would be like a 2.
When I use the pencil, it's a little bit more messed up, but then when I use the voice typing, it's like, picks up it all.
I could write like a page on a computer and probably like one sentence with a pencil.
When I first started this initiative, I just thought that it was going to be about allowing the deep thinking to come out. But along the way, I've realised that their handwriting capability actually increases with their success. The reason that I feel like this is working so well is because we adapt it to the child that we're working with at the time. So if the child wants to write, then we use the device as a tool to allow their thinking out, and then they transfer it onto paper. So their fine motor skill of writing is still growing.
Digital devices actually build confidence. The learner builds confidence in themselves as an intelligent and successful writer, and that expands into handwriting as well. The earlier that children can start using these devices, the better. Then it just becomes the norm for them as they work through the school.
Children that have dyslexia find it really hard to spell. Sounding out just doesn't happen for them. And so what we've found that voice typing does is it takes that barrier away and allows them, again, to show their thinking. Some of the indicators that children may need support in class is daydreaminess, lack of self-management, fidgeting, and that often it turns into behaviour in class. What we've found through engaging these children is that those behaviours become less prominent and more widely understood.
Initially, there's just an uplifting in the wairua in the room, because there is an understanding in our class actually that they can do it. It's accessible. Kids are challenged in a way that has a foundation of a real positive āhua or way of being, and the kids have really responded to that.
Within 6 to 8 weeks, we were seeing a marked improvement in children's capability, and often within a couple of weeks we were seeing an improvement in their sense of well-being and their enjoyment of school.
It becomes part of everyday classroom, and so children are experiencing success every day.
Wellbeing became a measure of success because we saw it happen before our eyes. And it was not only wellbeing of the child, but wellbeing of parents and grandparents who saw their child achieving well at school.
We've gotten away from things like surface features, spelling and punctuation, and finding what's wrong with their writing. What we now do is find out what's right with their writing.
I've had boys that have now are wanting to do writing. As soon as it's writing time, they know their tasks, they know what they've got to do. They are straight away into writing, and they are now knowing that they can actually write. And for me, that's a win-win situation.
I'm trying to get my work done, but then I can't spell it at all. But then when I'm using the computer and voice typing, I know how to say the words and it just spells it for me.
They don't have to struggle with the spelling. It's just changed the whole complex in our classroom with regards to their behaviour. So if it's changing their behaviour, it's a win-win not only for me but also for the boys as well and the students in the classroom.
When you put the recommended supports in place, these children were achieving at or above their peers, and that had never been recognised before for them. So huge, huge success for those children.